Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use the software, the Logger Pro, for your SpectroViz measurements. First thing you should do is open up Logger Pro. You need to go to the experiment section and then calibrate your spectrophotometer. You'll get this pop-up that you see right here in front. It'll take about maybe 80 seconds or so to warm up. Once the warm-up is done, it'll ask you to place a blank cuvette, your DI water, into the slot there. Make sure that it is in the correct position. And when you're done with that, just click on Finish Calibration. What's going to happen next is that it'll scan. You'll see a little change in text here. It says it's scanning. Let it run for a few seconds or so. And then you could press OK. That means it's already calibrated. Now, if you want to double check that it's working, just go back to the very top, click on Play. And you'll see that the red line at the bottom, it's pretty much flat. You'll see here on the left, the absorbance, it is 0. Wavelength range goes from about 3 to 900 here, but you should see that the absorbance for the blank is 0. So you could just click stop here. Now, when you're ready, you're going to place your next most concentrated solution. This is for your standards that you're making, 100%, 50, 25, 12.5. So you're going to put your 100% in first. Make sure that you have it in there correctly. I just swapped out the blank, put in the 100%. Now I want to press play again. And so what you'll see is that it's going to ask to store the data. What would you like to do? Store the latest run. So I store that. It's going to run, and you're going to see your absorbance peak here. Now, what we're going to look for is the maximum absorbance. So I'm going to go ahead and stop over here. Now I could actually adjust the scale. I'm guessing it's around 457. So we'll keep that in mind. Click on the A over here for auto scale. I said around 457. So let's look on the very left. And we're going to scroll down. So look at our max wavelength. And 457 was an approximation. Based on hovering with my cursor. And it looks like the max absorbance here is about 449. So 455 maximum wavelength. That wavelength corresponds to the max absorbance at 0.449. So you're going to record that down. At this point, you should record that in your notebook. Now, 455, let's go ahead and use that information. So what you're going to do is go back to the very top, click on Configure Spectrophotometer. Again, our max absorbance was 449.449, and that corresponded to a wavelength of 455. Go back up here, Configure Spectrophotometer. Now it's normally on absorbance versus wavelength. So I'm going to click on absorbance versus concentration, and I'm going to look for 455. It's actually showing, it'll do it automatically for you here. So you see that check mark is saying 458, which is about 449. It was also 455. So you could adjust that manually if you wanted to. I said 455, so I'm just going to stick with that. So I check it 455. Now I go ahead and stick with that as the value. I go ahead and press OK. Now, what you're going to see is it's going to ask you, do you want to store the latest run? Just click yes. Now, what you're going to have over here is, if you kind of notice, let me see if I can move this out of the way, that you get a new graph over here. Look at the lower left-hand corner. Absorbance at 455, that's what we just saw, and it's about 0.450. So that was about the value we saw earlier for the second run. 455.449. It's about right. Now, you are going to have a lot of solutions that you're going to have to measure the absorbance for. So that includes the last 3 solutions as well, the one with the temperature change. So rather than having to click play all the time like we normally done, and we did that because we had a few solutions here, take out the stock solution. I have that in here now. Look at the lower left-hand corner. Look at the lower left-hand corner. As I take it out, you're going to see that it should go to about 0 because I took it out. Now I'm going to put my next diluted solution, which is the 50%. So I'm going to go ahead and insert that into the spectrophotometer. and then you're gonna see a value of 0.294. That is your new absorbance. So you're gonna repeat this procedure. Let's say I take out my 50%, and then I'm gonna add my 25% and so on. Let me put back the 50% in here. So it's gonna go to about 0.28. Make sure you're writing that. That's corresponding to the wavelength at 455. But the absorbance here is 0.279. Now, if I go back to the original 100%, notice here that I'm going to insert that back in here. It's going to go up to about 0.455, close to the initial value. I'm going to take out the 100%, put in the 50% over here, and then it should go down to about 0.273. Now, naturally, you're going to be doing this for your 25%, your 12.5% for the standards, and then you're going to do this again for your other 9 solutions plus 3, the one with sodium chloride and the temperature change. So this is a faster way to do it. If you have any questions, please make sure you're taking good notes here.